Hey Doobs, how we doing today? Welcome to another edition of the DOOBISODE series where we get to just hang out, chat, talk about things that are on our mind, and we do these weekly episodes to stay in touch. And I just kind of like to use this as a vlog and just spew out everything that's been on my mind for the past week, and coming up with kind of a specific theme to the episode. And just a disclaimer before we get into it, I'm not playing Last of Us. Facebook just made me choose a game, but I wanted to make sure that everyone who are able to watch can, if you're on Facebook or YouTube. But thank you so much, guys, for supporting me. We've actually hit 100 subs on YouTube, so that's a lot of fun. And I'm just going to put this little in there that we will be playing Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater in one run non-lethally. In honor, thank you, guys. That's a lot of fun. But yes, so this is just going to be the Doobisode. We're not playing anything. We do have some fun Crash Bandicoot, the Barrett theme in the background. I love this soundtrack. So just a little bit of news there. But again, I want to keep it rolling. I don't want to take up too much of your time here. So I just want to make sure that we are all live, good to go. Hey, Drax. Hey, good to see ya. Yes, I've not checked out Valorant yet, but that is on the list. But yes, let's get in the Doobisode here. Thank you, Drax. Huge shout out to Drax, always supporting me. And everyone new that's joined, especially since we finally hit the 100 followers and 100 subs. It's been so fun. But yeah, so let's just get into what we're getting into. So we have some next gen news we're going to be talking about. We actually got a cool, exciting new little teaser thing that happened today. And I'm going to be going through a list of games that I'm also really excited for coming up in the next year or so. Some of them have definitive dates. Some of them are kind of just in limbo right now, but I still want to talk about them. I'll have some cool pictures. We're getting better at this thing every time I come on every week, and it's just again a way for me to just word vomit and spill all my ideas out on the ground. So thank you so much for joining me. Yep. And so we hit it. So we will be playing Metal Gear. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Arizona RX Energy. It has 100% of your vitamin C. It's an herbal tonic. It's not an energy drink. So it's really good. They're only $1, and I check them out. They get through me. They get me through all my intense hardcore gaming sessions that are super long. But yeah, we've been playing a lot of games. But let's just get into the news today, guys. So just kicking off with PlayStation 5. Yeah, the next gen news is kind of oddly, weirdly trickling to us just because of the state of the world. There's a lot of road bumps and hurdles that developers, and especially the big three, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, have to jump over to really get their consoles and their content off the ground. It's been really hard for me getting some of the games and just keeping track of everything. Games are getting pushed back, and we're on the twilight of next gen, so the PS5 and Xbox are supposedly and seem like for sure coming out by holiday. But we are getting more news. We had the controller reveal. Mike Cerny had his awesome thing, and we did just get the Xbox. So I'm going to talk about Xbox. I'm primarily PlayStation, but I'm just always connected to the all-around gaming news. And Xbox did have their presentation last week, showing off kind of teasers, and it seems like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is really leading the charge on this next gen. And so we thought we were going to get a gameplay in-depth of that, but they kind of fell short. You've probably seen the stuff online going around how it was kind of a fail, because right now we'd be getting E3 stuff, but we're kind of have to get substitutes in the forms of like Nintendo Directs or just YouTube live videos, and it's just kind of a little underwhelming, just the excitement level of next gen is, because usually we're at so much more news and info and maybe more exact dates, but it is coming. And so we have some fun things, just starting off with Sony officially rebranding an umbrella market here called PlayStation Studios. And they have an Avengers-like opener now that when you buy a first-party Sony Interactive published game, you're going to get this cool new, again, Avengers-like opener. And I guess it's really just to make sure that you're getting a true awesome product. And yeah, and I completely agree. It's very cool. It shows like Nathan Drake and Ratchet and Clank and all these cool characters in the Sony logo when a game opens, and that is just going to get me so much more excited to see that. I think they're going to put these logo on the disc now, but much like Microsoft Studios, they just decided to call it PlayStation Studios, of course, and maybe we'll get a Nintendo Studios. But it's just another marketing, because Sony exclusives has been on a roll, and I just want to say a quick note about that. Yeah, Sony exclusive, they really do kind of tend to be a lot of the big ones. Just another app. I'm mostly showing, just gotta check my notes here about the illumination, yeah, the technology a lot more, but it was very awesome to finally see some cool next gen news, and I guess the PS5, so it's on the horizon. I guess there's a rumored reveal event on June 4th. So keep your ears and eyes peeled for that. And apparently from a job listing, we get a lot of leaks and rumors through job listings, and maybe developers talking and saying a little bit too much in their tweets and what have you. So yeah, apparently we're supposedly getting the PS5 in October. I think that's a little bit too early. I'd say maybe November, right before Thanksgiving and Black Friday. America is generally very economically purchase friendly around those times, and it's important to the big three to get their consoles out, with the Xbox Series X coming out. A little underwhelming from their reveal event, but I'm sure we'll be getting a lot of news there. But it looks like, hey Yarko, thanks for the thank you for the thanks for the sub and everything you've been doing to support me. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a great day. Just talking some gaming next gen news here. So yeah, October, I'd say maybe unrealistic, but I guess we'll see how the planets align and what's really happening, because Sony and Microsoft, for the most part, are holding their cards really close to their chest in terms of where they're going, and more so release dates. But we know things are happening. It's just really hard to get the ball rolling, especially with the things that are happening in our everyday lives with the whole world. So they're working hard. I know it's hard, but we still got to get these news from these guys. We got to get excited, if especially now, saving our pennies when these consoles are probably going to be in the $500-$600 mark. So yeah, if you're looking to get these consoles, I'm sure they'll be hard to pre-order. There's probably going to be shortages, just like everything else in the world. But yeah, I want to keep it going here, so keep your eyes peeled. We are going to be getting the PlayStation, the PlayStation Direct coming on this Thursday, actually tomorrow. Today is yeah, the State of Play, they call it. I keep forgetting. I keep calling it the Direct. I don't mean to brand it that way like Nintendo. But yes, the State of Play from Sony is going to be airing tomorrow at 4, and we're going to be getting a lot of Ghost of Tsushima footage, and this is going to be kind of talked about more when I talk about the games I'm excited for. But we're going to be getting plenty of Ghost of Tsushima, 18 minutes of new gameplay, I guess, in the State of Play. So it's just going to be really focused on that one game. No PS5 news. I'm sure we'll get some of that in future State of Plays, but they do trickle out every couple months, and I'm sure we'll get a Last of Us thing or some other snippet of news about something in the State of Play. I'm sure it won't be absolutely focused on Ghost of Tsushima, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. So yeah, State of Play tomorrow, Thursday, tomorrow's May 14th already, so keep your eyes on that. It's just really cool that when it's officially unveiled by Sony instead of all the rumors. I watch a lot of YouTube, so it's fun to get official stuff like the tech demo we had today with Unreal Engine. It was a real treat to wake up to, and Digital Foundry really sunk their teeth into it and talked about the things that I was kind of mentioning about the illumination system and the nanopixels and what have you. So yeah, I'll try to link that in the video. But yeah, just moving along here, just want to get over some of that the next gen gaming news. It's in the twilight. It's in our hands. Microsoft tried, didn't do too crazy with it. Sony's getting there. But yeah, let's just get right into the usual here. Of course, we're gonna start off with our movie of the week by your boy, presented by Doob. Always fun. I'm definitely more than just a gamer. I'm an entertainment enthusiast, and I really just want to promote things that I think completely deserve a watch. And I've been meaning to have a horror movie on this channel for a while. I did just start these movies of the weeks not too long ago, but there's a lot of movies. We'll do these once a week, so we'll have plenty of opportunity to get to some things here. But yes, and actually my buddy Jeff recommended this, that maybe I should talk about it and have as my movie. And these Wednesdays really do creep up, and I absolutely agree that the movie of the week this week should be, yes, Get Out, directed and written by Jordan Peele. This movie came out in 2017, has super high Rotten Tomatoes rating, and I'm always excited for the slow burn that kind of slowly peels back its layers. Jordan Peele back its layers, no pun intended there. And this movie is just a very great, serious combination of race and racial slurs and discrimination mixed with horror in a really interesting, fascinating way. And again, this is, I talk about a lot of titles and products that is better left unsaid to not spoil too much. But all the actors do a fantastic job here. Jordan Peele, and I had to also just recommend this movie because Jordan Peele, I come from the days when he started with Key and Peele and even some comedy skits before that, but he's really grown and grown as a writer, and I love that I get to see this side of him that's serious, and also really into the new Twilight series that's produced by Jordan Peele, and he's the new guy in the suit that comes out at the beginning of each episode. He's very serious, and he seems to be a very demented soul, but I love that about Jordan. He's super funny, and this movie just has a lot of moments that'll keep you involved until the very end, finally seeing what's really going on there. I love that about horror movies, is thrillers and horror movies have a great buildup when you find the right movie, and this is one of them. Also got to recommend Us. I'd say I like Get Out a little bit more. It's a little bit more fluent in its direction and its pacing, but Get Out is amazing. It's if you can get into it. Hey, thank you so much for liking the stream, JB. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. So Get Out has a lot of different variety of definitely a little comedy. The actors are all there. It's slow burn, and if you haven't seen Get Out and you're up to willing to go through a psychological thriller with just all the right components, this is definitely a movie you should check out, along with Us, and the new Twilight Zone series is pretty well too. Even if you can get some time, check out some of the classic episodes, especially the one with William Shatner, that classic airplane episode. I just really wanted to have a good horror movie, and there's a new Scooby-Doo called Scoob movie coming out, and I actually did recently rewatch Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. I just want to give that movie a shout out for really progressing and evolving the characters in a really good way. It's actually a really good movie on its own, especially if you are a 90s kid like me and grew up with Hanna-Barbera and all those other types of animated shows that have lived long enough to survive to actually get another shot in modern day society. It's a lot of fun for especially a lot of cartoon characters for me that have kind of evolved and gotten their second chance. Get Out, great, fascinating movie, and it's just like really good, just really good. And I try to promote really good movies, even if some of them maybe are so bad it's good. But just try to open up your minds a little bit, like I've been trying to doing with a lot of these movies and games I promote. But I give everything a chance, especially when it comes to gaming. So yeah, I want to keep it going here. I don't want to go too long because we have a lot of fun games to talk about. And so I'm just going to go ahead, get rid of this guy, and let's just get on to it. So I was really thinking about what I could do for this week's Doobisode, and I figured, why not have a list of upcoming games that I'm really excited about, talk about them a little bit, why I'm excited for them, and just going to take a sip of this here because my mouth's getting a little dry. But yeah, there's a lot of games coming out in the next year or so. This is the twilight of this generation. This is where a lot of developers have to get their game out and actually give it some time to breathe. You can't have your game kind of just come out right before the next gen consoles, although there will be some games on here that will be coming out very dangerously close and maybe inhibit some of their sales, but Summer seems like it's a big time for a lot of the smaller developers to get their game out and get used to some of the technology so they can start working on their games in the next gen. And some of the developers and games I'll be talking about are relatively new, and I want to give them a chance and give them my money and support them because some of these games look really good. So let's just dive right into it here. And I say dive, no pun intended, because the first game that's coming out in just a couple weeks actually, and these lists will kind of be going as they're released, or the games that I'm mentioning, but let's just dive into it here. Yeah, the first game that I'm really excited for that comes out 5/22, I believe, is Maneater. So yeah, just going to shrink this up because I have some notes on some of these games here. But Maneater, yeah, this is being developed by Tripwire Interactive. They're kind of a smaller studio that opened up in the past decade, and they've done games like Killing Floor. And this Maneater game is actually an interesting mix of RPG and action adventure, and you're actually playing as the shark. It's an RPG, so you will actually be swimming around in an open world, and there is a story here, and I guess there's a rivalry with a shark hunter. So you're really getting all facets. Again, Tripwire is a smaller studio. You're not going to be getting the AAA development here, and the graphics look good, but I'm mostly excited just to I'm a huge fan of marine biology life, and just seeing this cool, I guess there's a Dark Souls-y approach to this game. Not sure if that means like bonfire wise, or how you'll be, but I've seen you'll be fighting a bunch of different types of enemies, not only humans but the marine life within the sectors, and I guess you'll be swimming around all different parts of well, I guess the open water zone that you'll be in, unlocking new areas. I guess it has Castlevania type elements where you'll get stronger and a bigger shark to visit some areas, and I'm really just excited to see where Tripwire takes kind of this interesting approach of maybe a not so obvious character choice. We've gotten Jaws games, we've gotten some Echo the Dolphin. I mean, we've gotten some good swimming games. People kind of are usually turned off by the swimming portions of games. I'm looking at you, Metal Gear Solid 2. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see it, and it looks fun to play. And I think some developers are really catching on where it's like, how do we make swimming work in a game? And it'll be interesting to see all the really cool enemies, and I'm sure I'll kind of really sink my teeth into this title, as it looks just fun, friendly, and it's kind of similar to some other games on this list. But yeah, so excited for Maneater. Believe that comes out 5/22. And all right, so that's the first one, and since I'm kind of doing this by release date, let's get into some big ones here. And I kind of want to talk about this title a little bit more, and of course that is The Last of Us Part 2, PS4's supposed swan song to this generation that's unfortunately been hindered by everything that's going on in the world. You know about the leaks. We've had story leaks, we've had gameplay leaks, and they have Naughty Dog officially hasn't really shown too much of this game besides a couple trailers and then the E3 gameplay reveal we had last year. But man, I am so excited for this game. I was so excited for the first one, and I've evolved so much as a gamer. And I've loved Uncharted. I love Naughty Dog ever since day one. I mean, I'm playing Crash Bandicoot music right now in the background for you guys. And it's just, I guess I just wanted to mention that please try to support this game. I'm sure Naughty Dog has been very sad with the leaks that got out, and I guess it was from a security hack. It wasn't from a disgruntled worker, but like 6 years went into this game, and Troy Baker has been trying to promote this game. That sure, maybe you've seen leaks and maybe you've seen how the game ends, but you truly don't know what this game is about until you play it from A to B, start to finish, uncut, unscripted, much like your videos by your boy Doob here. So yeah, if you do see this game, try to keep developers and the people that work so hard in this game finally see it to fruition and people praising their game. Because this whole pandemic that we've had here has really just put a strain on a lot of people's lives and a lot of people's hard work. And it seems, I'm kind of curious to see how things would have went differently without everything happening more smoothly. Definitely would have had my Resident Evil 3 Collector's Edition by now, but that's a story for another time. And I was actually able to finally, thank you Best Buy. Best Buy has been saving my ass on all this nonsense, and I was able to get my LE edition pre-ordered, so we'll actually be able to do an unboxing there. I want to do more of those. It's just I have a lot of these collector's editions I want to show you guys, but that's a video for another time. But yeah, keep on your eyes for, this is coming out June 19th, which is a Friday. All the big titles tend to come out on Tuesdays and Fridays now. And I think even though a lot of the story has been spoiled, I think a lot of the gameplay will be enhanced from Last of Us 1, and I think there'll be some really cool just moments that need to be witnessed right in front of your eyes as you're playing. The emotional beats will mean more. It's all about the context, so try to just avoid the spoilers if you can, if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, hey, I guess nothing's stopping you, but I always do try to avoid spoilers and really experience the product as intended. And so I just can't stress how much I'm excited for this game, and I'm really sad myself. My heart goes out to the developers that this was supposed to be a lot more different experience coming out of the cage finally after so long, after people wanting this game for so long. But it seems that there is some light at the end of the tunnel with the next title here. And the next one that I am speaking of, which is just coming out a month later, we've been spoiled with games, and we're gonna keep getting spoiled. But yeah, the one that seems to really catch a lot of people's attention right now is Ghost of Tsushima. I talked a little bit about this earlier in the video. We're going to be getting the State of Play tomorrow at 4. That'll have a 18-minute gameplay trailer, deep dive into this game. So this is developed by Sucker Punch, who've done the infamous titles and even before that the Sly series, Sly Cooper. And I was never super into Sly Cooper, but I actually did win my first thing on the TV back when Cartoon Network was a thing. They actually had a call-in contest, and I actually won, and I won a copy of Sly Cooper 3, and it was really good. And it was like they tried to do 3D stuff with the eyeglasses, but yeah, it was a good experience, and I enjoyed it, and I loved Infamous. Infamous 1 was great. They brought it back even harder with Infamous 2. And then Infamous Second Son, I actually finally got around to platinum that game. Really enjoyed it. Didn't quite hit as home with me as Infamous 1 or 2. But yeah, so Sucker Punch has been working on this title. And it is, in Infamous Second Son was actually a marquee, I think it was a launch title for PS4. So it is kind of amazing when developers can release one, if not two, maybe sometimes three AAA titles in one console generation. But we are getting this one right at the end. It looks amazing, and it's another feudal combat-based, action adventure where all these Sony exclusives do kind of have a similar theme of action, and but regardless of the genre, the storytelling, and it's all about the context and the theme and what's really going on. I have Get Out as my movie of the week. I talked about that a little bit, so thank you for sharing that and giving me ideas. And I'm not going to talk about esports today, but that is a great idea. I actually came up with a cool idea of games I'm excited for. But hope you're having a great day, brother. But yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima comes out a month later from Last of Us 2. I just feel so bad being spoiled, and I got a lot of games that are coming out this summer, trying to get out before that next gen experience when everybody's got all glossy eyes for the PS5 and Xbox One Series X. So Ghost of Tsushima is going to be a great title. Definitely keep your eyes on this one. I don't really see this game faltering. I could be wrong. I was kind of wrong about Death Stranding. I thought Death Stranding was going to be an absolutely must play by everyone, but that was kind of middling. I thought it was incredible. It just kind of sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes it takes a second chance for you to give that for you to give a game a second chance to replay it and maybe see why it's amazing and beautiful and gorgeous. Just aside from the graphics, I mean, graphics can make anything look and feel a lot better, but gameplay wise, I actually did like the gameplay loop in Death Stranding, and I really got connected to BB and everything that was happening in that game. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima comes out July 17th, so not even a month after Last of Us Part 2. There is a collector's edition and special edition for that, for the couple extra goodies, as Sony really likes to do here. But yeah, so give that game, keep that under the radar. We're going to keep going with it here. So yeah, we're going to get into some smaller titles and some games that I'm excited for and are definitely going to give a try, because I try to play everything. And they even have some cool special editions. But the first one here is going to be SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Edition. I think this game comes out June 23rd, maybe even this month. I'm not entirely sure here with some of the release dates. I just kind of seize them as I get them. But yeah, this is actually a remake by THQ. THQ has taken all their IPs and they're kind of doing cash grabs, but it looks like it's really what the people actually wanted. So I can't really fault them for coming out with some of these titles I'm going to be talking out here. I've never actually played Battle for Bikini Bottom, so this is just a fun way for me to jump in. I love SpongeBob. I'm a huge fan. I think the OG, the first couple seasons humor still holds up super strong to this day. I'm always going to be a kid at heart, and I think SpongeBob is really funny, and I'm kind of curious to how that translates into a video game. I guess thinking about it, I've never really played SpongeBob as a video game really before. I think there was a couple like mash 'em ups and party games from SpongeBob, but there's a really cool collector's edition coming out for this game that I'm going to be picking up. And so this game is even going to have added features like multiplayer and some online elements. So yeah, this is coming out in the summer, and I'm really excited just to try out SpongeBob. And sure, from what I've seen, the graphics and everything, it doesn't look super polished, but I hope the jokes and the dialogue and maybe at least the characters really shine through when I play this game. So yeah, keep your eyes out on that one. I'm definitely going to be streaming it. And so yeah, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, THQ game. Another THQ game that I think is coming out in June as well as yeah, Destroy All Humans is finally getting its remake that a lot of people have been asking for. Again, this is getting similar collector's editions. THQ is really banking off of them, and I haven't really been a huge Destroy All Humans fan per se. I really like, it's an open world, you play as an alien, but it's got kind of a funny humor to it. It's kind of like that Alien movie, the Invasion movie, where it's a little bit more silly than serious. And of course there's flying, there's cows, and there's potty humor. And the alien seems like he's a little bit of a drunk asshole a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna try and pick this up. And again, this game and SpongeBob are gonna be, and Maneater for that matter, are all discounted titles at $40 to $50. And I love it when the price kind of reflects the product you're getting. You're not feeling cheated. It might turn some people off from getting the game because they're kind of maybe looking for more of that AAA experience. But hey, if you're on a budget and you're into something that's more campy and fun, and really the heart of the game is in its heart rather than its in presentation, then I think you'll actually have a lot of fun. And actually, Destroy All Humans has like a 71 or 74 on Metacritic, but the user scores are higher. They're like in the 8s, close to 9 even. And I think this franchise has a lot of love. So I'm really glad that THQ is bringing it back. We had THQ Nordic. I think they've just kind of absorbed all the companies, and we did have Darksiders Genesis. We finally got to check out the Fourth Horseman there, and I'm kind of curious to see where THQ takes Darksiders further, but they have a lot of great big franchise IPs that they can put out in the meantime, like SpongeBob and Destroy All Humans. So I'm going to give this a whirl. It's an open world. You'll kind of have all your alien tools at your disposal and just have fun on the townsfolk and wreak havoc and just have fun. I think this game and SpongeBob are really just meant to have fun and just have a campy summer experience to just kind of mess around until we get some bigger titles, although we will be getting Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us. And then we won't have a lot of time in between before we get some even huger, crazier, bigger titles in the future. So let's just keep it going along here. And so yeah, I kind of grouping these together, but I'm going to talk about the first one here. Some of these are actually newer titles I just learned about, and I'm all about the horror. We had a great horror thriller movie of the week with Get Out this week, and yeah, I just learned about this Made of Scare game. It's going to be a first person thriller horror. And I do have some info on this a little bit. I just want to make sure I give credit where credit is due here. Yeah, it's based on a Welsh or British folktale with folklore where you're battling these quiet men, really creepy, eerie bagman dudes. And this is being developed by Wales Interactive. They've done a lot of VR stuff in the past. Again, not a really big company, but I'm glad that this Wales Interactive is putting out a title that looks legitimately scary. It kind of reminds me of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard a little bit, in that you're going to be you actually have to hold a button to hold your breath. You're going to be running more than fighting, and it looks genuinely creepy. And again, I'm not sure how some of these titles I'm going to be talking about, how maybe they're going to hold up as opposed to some of these other games, but I wanted to include a nice mix. And again, I try to give games a chance, and I think some of these games definitely deserve that chance going forward. So yeah, Made of Scare, don't know too much about it except that it's based off of a folklore, first person thriller, survival action, and I'm going to talk about another one here in a little bit. But yeah, keep your eyes on Made of Scare. Looks super eerie, like genuinely creepy, much like a couple other titles I'm going to talk about here. So that's the first one in the shrew of games. Oh god, things are happening. Oh god, spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts. Sorry about that, guys. Well, looks like I gave away a couple here. I'm kind of still getting used to this a little bit, but well, I guess I'll just talk about this one. Yeah, so Remothered. Yep, well, you already know we'll talk about Avengers here in a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I'm all thumbs, but yeah, so the next one I wanted to talk about here is Remothered Broken Porcelain, and they just showed a kind of a dev diary trailer of this game, and this game actually looks way more of a survival horror game. I'm really getting into these cat and mouse type horror games, like we've kind of seen with Resident Evil 7. You're going to be doing a lot of running more than fighting, and then eventually you'll fight, and it looks like in this Remothered game you will be able to fight a little bit, again coming out this summer. And I just want to see, I keep trying to remember what the developers of so this one is made by Stormon Games, very recent company that just started up, and I want to give these guys a chance because it seems like this is actually their first franchise. There was Tormented Father, I believe, the one that was called before this, and it's actually getting a full-fledged, not AAA, more maybe a AA title release for the PS4 coming out this summer. But you play it as a little girl, and you're running around this crazy house with a lot of scary looking guys that, again, will follow you more than you fight, and you have to find a bunch of, I guess, crafting materials and things to keep you alive, kind of like Last of Us a little bit. But I like that it's more of a third person horror than a than the first person, and you kind of get to see your character a little bit more. I think that really translates well when you're running around and you actually get to see your character kind of freak out a little bit. So yeah, and just to really round up all the horror titles, hopefully I really don't want to mess this up again, so I'm going to take it a little slow, but to really just round out the horror titles, we have the second episode of the Dark Pictures anthology, Little Hope, coming up. I actually just streamed my whole playthrough not that long ago, and I knew I was gonna love it. Of course, there's a little nitpicky things and scenes kind of happen just for story's sake because there are so many different branching paths that you can take on these games. But overall, it's really fun to play your own TV show. I think they really hit the ground running. Published by Bandai Namco, developed by Supermassive Games, who've done Until Dawn, so they know what they're doing. You're getting a polished experience with great actors, and I can never remember the guy's name, but the guy who was just in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, he's going to be represented in this episode, along with a completely new cast, much like the Twilight Zone. So I love the anthology-like experience, and it's even the Dark Pictures anthology. So you know that you get a completely fresh new take with new characters and a new theme and a new setting, and it looks like this one's kind of more witchcrafty, culty themed, whereas in the first one we got more of a haunting, kind of supernatural, but with of course, you know, explains scientifically how things happen. So I really like that, and I'm going through the new Twilight Zone right now, and I can't wait to finish it. And we actually are getting the new season of Twilight Zone presented by Jordan Peele, I think coming out June 25th is the first episode. So yeah, we'll be getting the second episode of this, a choice-driven, super polished experience with a bunch of different outcomes. And so if you're into that sort of thing, you can definitely check out my stream of the first episode and then play it on your own and get your own story. That's why it's great. There's a lot of different experiences here. So I can't wait to really check that out. But yeah, moving along here. So that pretty much rounds up our horror games that we had going on. And so we were so excited. This kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like this gentleman has been waiting a long time to finally reveal this game. And it seems like he revealed this actually on Jablinski Games. And he was hanging out with Jack Black. Of course, I'm talking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. In a combined bundle coming out in September. It was actually just Tony Hawk's birthday yesterday, and we just got the reveal of this game. It's coming out with a cool collector's edition, and you know I'm all about that. And the best part about this game is that it's pretty much a 1-1 remake of the first two games with I'd say it's going to have most of the original soundtrack. With licensing and things, it's kind of hard to keep the whole soundtrack, but we're gonna be getting, you know, like Sum 41 and Fat Lip and all these awesome tracks that came out in the original PS1 and PS2 titles. So I'm really this is such a great reveal. I think Tony Hawk was getting a little irritated with all the shitty games that were coming out with his name on it, so he probably wants to actually, this is being developed by Vicarious Visions, the guys who remastered or remaked Crash, the Insane trilogy. So I'd say it's in safe hands here. He found, I'm not sure, he probably didn't find a company, but he found his dudes that found this company to have a great 1-1 remake ratio. And I kind of want to just talk about remakes here a little bit. Hey, Sean McCoskey, thank you so much for liking this, man. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a great day. So yeah, it's just good fashion skateboarding fun until maybe we get that next skate game, whenever that might come out. But until then, this is just, again, more of an arcadey look, and I love it when there's more of an arcadey feel. Everything doesn't have to be AAA. Joel and Ellie animation, Troy Baker, Nolan North animation. You know, we don't need that all the time. Sometimes we just need a campy arcade fun where we can just sit down and skate around and listen to some awesome music. And I just want to talk about, I guess I just want to have a little bit about the whole remake, remastered, reimagined discussion. We've been getting a hell of a bunch of these this year. We just had Resident Evil 3 remake, and now they're just kind of calling it Resident Evil 3, and then we had Final Fantasy 7 remake. And I think it really shouldn't have had the remake on the box. Resident Evil 3 actually didn't. I don't think Resident Evil 2 did either, but it was more of a true remake. It's kind of funny how developers are maybe getting a little more ballsy when taking their time to remake. I guess the director of Final Fantasy 7 was saying that it is more of a reimagining, and that every Final Fantasy title is different because they're they're trying to make that perfect Final Fantasy game, but it's just hard when you tell your fans you're making something and then they kind of get something else. I think there just needs to be more of a communication when a developer says, oh, we're going to do a remake, and we all get excited and we think we're going to get the exact same game, just update a little bit with better graphics. It's really hard because so Vicarious Visions did do a perfect 1-1 remake of the whole Insane trilogy, and pretty much, and then they pretty much did it with the Crash Insane Nitro Fueled remake remaster, which is a remake, and it took some more liberties there, especially with the carts and the DLC stuff. But you know, it's really hard to say when okay, we're gonna make a full remake and then we get this perfect 1-1 ratio like we did with Crash, and then games like Final Fantasy and hey Kyle, thank you so much for liking the stream, bud. Hope you're having a great day. We're just talking upcoming titles and games, and just talking about remakes and remasters right now a little bit. But yeah, and then it's really hard when we get a title like Final Fantasy 7 and Resident Evil remake, and then we're like, well, where's this, or why wasn't this included? And I think it's really just up to the developers how they want to advertise their game. It's just, we're just kind of in that weird middling ground where remasters and remakes are becoming more and more of a thing. And I think developers just need to take a little bit more time to communicate what they're actually making. Sometimes we just have to assume, sometimes we just have to take it and enjoy it. But you know, whatever you guys into, whatever you guys want to give a chance. And that's why maybe watching more videos and doing research is really important, especially when you're dropping $60. Even for me, when I drop $200 on a collector's edition, I mean, for me, that's okay for me because I generally will try to find the best out of the games. Yeah, we definitely got to play Tony Hawk Online. I'm sure there'll be some online aspects there. And yeah, just getting back on the remaster thing, I just try to give a chance, but try to do your research going into, and that's why reviews are kind of important to some people, especially demos. I guess demos cost a lot of money to make, and developers usually just go for the pre-made trailer route. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really excited for Tony Hawk's. It's coming out with the awesome collector's edition with the birdhouse design skateboard, and I think here, if you know what the developer, what their history is and what they've made, I'm sure we're gonna definitely get pretty much a 1-1 remake of the original 1 and 2 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. And I just can't wait to listen to that old school soundtrack. We're growing older all the time. It's just great. So yeah, that's coming out in September. And then, so yeah, when September hits, we're pretty much getting the big boys here, Doobs and Doobettes. So yeah, kicking off, and you kind of saw this already. Yeah, we're getting Marvel's Avengers, and this is going to be developed by Square Enix. And so they're going to be making a bunch of money this year. They did Final Fantasy, and I think this is a different team doing Marvel's Avengers. I mean, it has to be. And this is going to be, I think they're maybe a little late on this whole Avengers thing. I'm not sure if this was maybe more planned during the movie's release, but it's definitely its own thing. It's definitely going to be its own story. It's not copy and paste from any of the movies. Marvel sure seems to be safe about making sure Marvel's in the name of the title, like we had Marvel's Spider-Man. And it's kind of unclear whether Spider-Man will make an appearance or if they're creating some sort of MGU or Marvel Gaming Cinematic Universe or whatever. But from what I've seen, I really like what I've seen of this game, and it looks like they keep tweaking it based on fan reactions and kind of what people think about it. And it looks like we're going to be able to play as every Avenger. They'll have their own section. There'll be RPG elements. I'm sure this is kind of going to be close to how Square Enix's past games have been, especially with the Tomb Raider games, where you'll have like a branching level up path, and eventually you can probably unlock all the characters' abilities and have everything unlocked, kind of like Control 2 a little bit. But the presentation looks really good. We're getting Troy Baker, we're getting Nolan North voice acting and mocapping in this game. And we're getting awesome. The whole tag team crew is here. Not Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, and we're getting, you know, everyone, the Hulk, and everyone looks really honestly fidelity wise represented here in this game. And I can't remember the rubbery girl, but I think you're going to be following her story and reuniting the Avengers after this big loss of Captain America. That looks like how the game starts, and reuniting the Avengers, and just probably not an open world game, but open linear levels, if you kind of know what I mean there. There'll be big portions for maybe each of these characters to explore around, and also getting a really cool collector's edition. Definitely gonna have to be saving my pennies for this one. But yeah, just really excited for Marvel's Avengers. I like what I've seen so far. Comes out September 7th, I believe, or September, somewhere in the mid-Septembers. But I think it was trying to get a leg up on the next big release that's coming out also in September. And of course, I'm talking about arguably the biggest game of the year. It could have gone to Last of Us Part 2, but with this game, it's really hard to say because they have not missed a beat on their marketing or their representation or how they've been talking. Of course, I'm talking about Cyberpunk 2077. I had to just have this picture up here with Keanu Reeves is in the game. He made an amazing splash at last year's E3 that he was going to be in this. God, just let Keanu Reeves be in everything. He's awesome, and and just him being in this game makes it much more exciting. But not only just him, but this is from CD Projekt Red, the guys who brought us the Witcher series, and they know how to make a damn good video game. And I think everything that they've learned from Witcher is going to be just exploded times a million in this game. As far as the open world, this is really going to be a true genre and just a true game pushing game. Kind of like Rockstar in Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. They really do push the boundaries of open world and animation and reactiveness of the computers and the AI and all that. So yeah, I think there's going to be no punches held with this game. Apparently you can even tweak your genital size in this game. The details are going to be phenomenal. There's going to be blood and gore and amputation and nudity and explicit content and swearing and you name it. It's going to be all represented here, and I love that kind of really pushes gaming as a medium forward. Just because, you know, you can't be scared to show your content, and as long as your content is true and it has a reason to be there, that's what really makes gaming stand its own two legs, especially since it's the highest grossing, biggest money making industry, even more than movies right now. And video games have evolved so fast because of the technology, but also because of the amazing minds behind the video games. And I'm truly fascinated to see what CD Projekt Red gives us here come September. This game has been pushed back. It's been in development for forever. We've only really seen a few true snippets of the gameplay. They're doing a lot of behind the doors things here. But CD Projekt Red is a developer, is right on the money with their marketing, and they're actually, I kind of been meaning to, I totally forgot about this little snippet about the news at the beginning. But what Xbox is doing for their games is they're going to have a smart delivery program where if you purchase a game this current generation, you'll get the game for free next generation. You just do like an unlocked download code or whatever, and immediately CD Projekt Red was right on the money. Said, yep, if you buy Cyberpunk 2077 this generation, we will make sure you get it for free if you upgrade your console. So I think that's really great, and this is a Microsoft exclusive thing, by the way, with the smart delivery. Sony has their cross-buy program that I hope they upgrade for PS5. They do have that system where if you buy it on one console, you'll get it for every version of that console. But it's been a very limited selection of games that actually allow you to do that, so I hope we get that so much more with PlayStation, because I'm going to be primarily playing PlayStation. I'm going to get a PS5 over Xbox One Series X if it's gun to my head. And I'm going to talk about a game here shortly about I'm excited for Xbox Series X, but they just haven't proven to me quite yet why I should buy the console. Where you know, of course, with Sony, it's not only the interface and the familiarity, but it's really the games. Because I mean, if you're telling me that I can pretty much play everything that Xbox has on my PlayStation as far as third parties go, plus all these amazing now PlayStation Studio branded games, I'm gonna go for PlayStation, and it was my first console. So I mean, I have a lot of biases there, but it's just because really the quality of their games is top notch. And I have nothing really against Xbox. It's just PlayStation does it for me. And if Xbox proves to me that they'll come out with some banging ass games that I'll put 100 hours or even 5 hours of super high quality into, sure, I'll try to get it. But just I digress here. From the smart delivery, I just think that's really cool. I'm really glad that they're developers and people like CD Projekt Red, who are all about the consumer, making sure, because games wouldn't exist without us and without our fandom and our caring of the culture. And I think people just kind of complain too much when they don't get what they want, and it's hard for developers to show their vision while also making sure the fans are happy. There's a real hard disconnect there a lot of the time, but I think CD Projekt Red just knows how to talk to his fans, not bullshit anybody, and really just make sure that the best quality product available can come out at the time of the release. So I'm super excited. I'll probably buy this game 3 times, much like most people have with Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. I'll buy it for this generation, I'll buy it for the next generation, and they'll probably have some sort of crazy master edition come out with all the DLC that I'll probably buy at some point too. So yeah, can't wait. Keanu Reeves is in this game, and man, that guy is just awesome. I really want Matrix to be a movie the week one of these times, but we'll get to that. So yeah, that's coming out in September. And yeah, so I kind of talked about this title a little bit, so we know that this game is for sure. I'm going to have a little smaller segment after this talking about games that we don't really have a release date for yet, but I digress. So yeah, I am excited and curious to see Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This game has really seemed to be, like I said, leading the charge in the next gen. They've been announcing it for next gen consoles. Also this gen, I'm sure this title will support the whole cross-buy and the smart delivery thing. Just one more little bit on that. I guess EA is going to be... Electronic Arts rears its ugly head into us once again. They always seem to be this... Okay, so CD Projekt Red is an example of a great company. EA, Electronic Arts, is an example of a not-so-great company. And they will be doing smart delivery, but you have to buy their game by December 31st. And you have to upgrade by March, and the time frame there is 3 months, I guess, is okay, but it's just really sad when like CD Projekt Red was, oh yeah, you can upgrade, you can whenever you want. Like there's no time limit on life or anything. So anyway, I digress. Just wanted to mention that because EA deserves to just need to be shaken and woken up a little bit. But yeah, so with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it's really evolved. Man, I remember I was so excited for the first Assassin's Creed. I got all the collector's editions, and just that first experience of doing an eagle dive into a bin of hay, it was truly exciting. And of course, there were some things that were not that great with repetitiveness and what have you, but it was a step in a great new light that we needed, a new IP franchise. And of course, now it's been milked almost every year since its release, especially with Origins. It's really, Origins brought it back. Black Flag was really the true great title, but I mean, I love the Ezio story. The trilogy is really where it ended for me. And then I wasn't really so much into 3, and I messed with Black Flag a little bit, and then didn't do Odyssey, or I didn't do Origins, but then I did get Odyssey, and I enjoyed it from what I played, but then I kind of hit a paywall type thing, and then I kind of dropped it. Probably will give it another chance. I think games do deserve a second chance, especially when we have a lot of time to play games right now. But I digress. Valhalla seems like the next evolution. It barely even seems like Assassins versus the Templars anymore. You know, that storyline still is going to be represented here. but I'm just kind of curious. It almost doesn't seem like Assassin's Creed, but I really hope they don't copy God of War too much, because this is going into more of a Norse mythology Viking type era, and I guess they have a lot of production teams working on just the setting for this game, and I'm sure that they'll do an amazing job with this game. And I'm really excited because we've had some flops like Unity and Unity, and there was another one that didn't do too well. But there was a couple flops there, and I feel like they've really been picking up the pieces, trying to pick up this game again. Who is this game developed by the way, is kind of what I'm. I really forgot the company here that. I just have to see. Man, who is this game? But Ubisoft, of course. Ubisoft Montreal. God, I'm so dumb. Ubisoft, yeah. We're going to be getting our radio towers, and Ubisoft is kind of tried to evolve themselves a little bit, but of course they're known for the radio towers. But yeah, I'm sure this will be a fully fledged developed AAA title that'll look great, probably play great, just evolved from what we've seen with Odyssey and Origins. But yeah, I'm still a little middling on it. I'm excited, but I'm gonna kind of wait. I don't think I'll put all the money into the collector's edition in this one. And I really hope Ubisoft can kind of take a step back, because really only a couple of their games really take off and stay in our minds for a while. Because like Watch Dogs and stuff like Watch Dogs just don't really stick with us for a very long time, and we kind of see the bullshit that the rinse and repeat gameplay that they've kind of spawned. But I mean, I'm Far Cry. I like the Far Cries. I think they've done really good stuff there. But let's just see if they can take it to that next level with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So yeah, just want to talk a little bit of that. And there's one more game here that we know is coming out as a launch title with the Xbox Series X. I'm actually going to talk about an Xbox game here a little bit. Again, not that I don't have anything about Xbox. I just don't think they've put out the games that I'm really looking for to play yet. But of course, as growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s and getting every video game I could back in the day, of course, we have Halo Infinite. And the joke is Xbox only has Gears and Halo, and that's okay. If they can make those titles relevant and fresh with each entry, then by all means keep banking off, because at the end of the day, video games are just here to make money. That being said, they should be brought back in a fresh way, much like God of War, where they actually kind of sit down, take some time to just reinvent the series, and it looks like they're kind of doing that here. Hey Swanee, thanks for liking the stream, man. Hope you're having a great day. And so yeah, I really hope that maybe it seems like Halo Infinite is going to go that route of maybe being more open world, and we saw the snippet of trailer at the E3 last year. I'm just kind of curious more about the gameplay. It seems like Infinite will be more of a multiplayer experience in a hub world, maybe kind of along the lines of, which is really funny, like Destiny, the old Bungie team, and this is going to be made by 343 Studios, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but this is a Microsoft Studios game. They're going to put all their pennies into this. And it is going to be a launch title, so Microsoft really does have a good strategy here with giving their marquee title a breath of fresh air with the new console. And if everything lines up, I'm sure Microsoft will have a great launch, especially if this game is really good. And I really hope it is. Hey, Nader, thanks for liking, man. Love you, bud. You guys are all great. You're all beautiful, and I love seeing that little zombie pop up because me, I love zombies. But yeah, so again with Halo Infinite, we don't know too much about the game yet. We've gotten some really cool trailers. It looks like we'll have more animal and wildlife and kind of just some open world. And I really just hope they bring back maybe the soundtrack and kind of what made Halo 1 be so good. That game is still so vivid in my memory, especially Halo 2. Halo 1 and Halo 2 specifically, And then Halo 3, which did come out on my birthday, and I got the actual Halo 3 Xbox 360 console, just like I had the Xbox Halo console. Man, I wanted that so bad. I had my mom track that down to like a Walmart in Kenosha, and I finally could get that. And it's just the memories attached to these games. They were great. They looked great for their time. I think it was 2001, and then it was really for PC. And Halo's gone through a long evolution where it was originally an RTS, a real-time strategy, and then became a first-person shooter, and then became a real-time strategy again with Halo Wars. And those are all great games. And I think there's not specifically a bad title in the series. I think 4 and 5 are definitely what fallen off most, and especially some false advertising with the good guy, bad guy fight that we were supposed to get and never really got, with that whole storyline going on there with kind of a renegade Master Chief. But yeah, I'm just kind of really interested to see where Master Chief's story is going to go. It seems like he's going to be a marquee character in this game. And I just really want Microsoft to come back in a strong way. And Gears 5 was really good. I played a little bit of that. Thought the decisions in that game were really cool, and then it opens up a little bit at the end. And so I think they're definitely are keeping Gears alive. But again, it's not like the re-envisioning that we've gotten in like titles like God of War or Marvel's Spider-Man, where they just need to push the boundaries a little bit more, maybe spend a little bit more time on the details. But again, they are very polished, and I mean, they look great, just as good as the titles I mentioned. And again, Xbox is rendering their games in true native 4K as opposed to PlayStation's checkerboard rendering, which I don't know if they'll be using next gen. That's really hard to say. I'm not the hugest techie guy, but I do know a couple things, especially from Digital Foundry. I'll try to link their channel in the description, as well as that Unreal tech demo that we had earlier today. That was a real nice little treat. But again, we have a couple more games to go through, so I'm rooting for you, Halo Infinite or Infinity. I really am, and I'm kind of excited just because we are getting close to the launch of these consoles, and I'm just hoping maybe the world will be in a better place when these come out closer towards the end of the year, because I think we're all feeling a little fatigued there. But yeah, let's move along. So yeah, now I just have a small snippet of games that we know or think we know that are coming out in 2020, and they should be, you know, given that the next gen is coming out, and we'll have some of these games probably trickle into next year. And I'm all for waiting for a more polished product. That's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. So let's start with the first one here that I am really excited for, and a huge fan of the Soulsborne experience and all the games we had, especially with Sekiro, and the next one coming from Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin is Elden Ring. We haven't gotten any gameplay. We thought we might see something in a state of play from Sony or something. It's been pretty tight-lipped from Software about this title, but from what we've gotten from leaks and rumors and kind of what we heard from Miyazaki himself, and I think this game is really going to take a lot from what we've seen actually in Sekiro, especially with the prosthetic arm. It looks like there's going to be a lot more custability, kind of maybe almost like the Surge 2 or just the Surge a little bit, where we can replace limbs and give us different powers based on the things that we chose. So I'm really excited to see. I didn't think I was going to be in a Sekiro so much, and then I get it and I fell immediately in love with its character design, the story, and just the segment to segment gameplay. It's just a lot of fun, and especially the combat I thought was way more fluid, and it added a verticality that I think Souls always kind of misses a little bit. You know, try plunging attack. So I think I just really hope that it still feels very From Software, but you know, evolved a little bit, as I've kind of been saying. It just looks really great, and I don't think we'll see much dip of a quality. Really, the only time we've seen maybe some middling ground is with Dark Souls 2. A lot of people, again, I think that game had a little bit of a troubled development history, and it was kind of just coming from Japan, and becoming more of a thing in the western states here. But yeah, supposedly this game had a leaked release date of June, and then that got canceled. It's always by Walmart or Target or something. But we'll see where Elden Ring really goes here. I'm just excited because you've seen me play a bunch of these games, and I'm always looking for that next Soulsborne experience, even if it's just smaller titles like The Surge 2, or even the Lords of the Fallen. If you're just looking for that experience, it'll keep you tided over until we get the Kings of Mastery from Software here. So keep your eyes open on that. Yeah, and of course, I love my fighting games. We play a lot of those. I usually pick up every one that comes out, and we get our next Arc System Works true experience, and that is, of course, Guilty Gear Strive. And Guilty Gear has been System Works marquee, their really breakout title where I think it really blew up in the competitive field, and it looks beautifully amazing and rendered, and that's why I love Dragon Ball FighterZ. And Arc System Works, who also does the artwork for Dragon Ball FighterZ and these games. Of course, we have Soul Bad Guy and a bunch of different characters coming back, and it looks beautiful. I mean, I'm wondering if this game is maybe going to get a PS5 release. Hey, Bree, thank you so much for liking the stream. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you. Just talking some games here. So yeah, and Guilty Gear is definitely more of your one-on-one fighter, and it takes with Dragon Ball FighterZ, it is very fast-paced, but is a little bit easier because it is a 4-button fighter like Guilty Gear, but the mechanics are a little more finely tuned for a one-on-one fighter. And I just love the presentation. I've always wanted a fighting game to really mix that true mix of the look of the game with also really good fighting mechanics, and Dragon Ball FighterZ definitely did that for me. Of course, we do have Mortal Kombat and Tekken and games that have more of a realistic looking graphics wise with facial animation, but man, I'm a huge anime fan, and I love that there's anime fighters that are especially with Grand Blue Fantasy Versus that I've played a little bit, that just look like you're playing a truly animated rendered TV show, and the fighting is of course the forefront. I think when you're playing a game, we do have graphics, we do have intuitiveness and user interfaces, but the thing that is definitely the most important in a video game is making sure your video game is a game and the gameplay is good, because that's what we're actually doing, even if it is a choice driven experience like Man of Medan or Telltale. I guess you just gotta find, developers have to find the driving force of why you're playing the game, whether it be the story or whether it be a twin stick shooter that's just fun to mess around for a little bit, or even Tetris. Hell, I mean, whatever you guys find out there. But yeah, Arc System Works in this game. So this game doesn't have a release date yet. It did have a beta, and I'm sure we'll hear something soon along with Elden Ring on official releases. We do have Tokyo Game Show in September. I'm hoping we'll get something sooner than that, but again, time will tell. And all right, speaking of anime, I am a huge fan of this series. I hope to do more live streams, especially in the Doobie Classics with some of the older titles. But yeah, Digimon Survive. I've always been more of a Digimon guy than a Pokemon guy, so don't unsubscribe. Please don't unsubscribe. I love them both, but for me, Digimon just does a little bit more. I think there's just a little more themes and content that I can connect to, and I guess it's just kind of what I grew up with, and it's just really what you cling to growing up as a kid. And so yeah, I've played pretty much every Digimon game there is, and they've always been open world JRPGs for the most part, and that's kind of what we're getting here, but it's going to be more of a turn-based board game Digimon, and also combining choice-driven experiences where it'll feel like a true Digimon adventure where you'll play as a character, and then your Digimon will digivolve based on maybe if you're being a douchebag or the hero of the day. I'm so excited. We've gotten a few gameplay snippets of this game, and I just love Digimon. It's definitely my version of Pokemon that I'm always looking forward to. Not nearly as popular, but I'm glad that Bandai Namco, of course, owning my life, is still hanging on to this franchise and still making sure that the United States get the Digimon love it deserves, because most of the time, especially with the past titles, Next World Order and Cyber Sleuth were originally just for Japan, and finally they got brought to the States, and those were great, fascinating looking games that had the cel shaded look and looked like the anime. So I think that's why I really appreciated those. So that's why I'm so much excited for Digimon Survive. The music is beautiful. Just try to watch that first trailer if you can, and hopefully this game is apparently still slated for a 2020 release, and I just hope we hear something soon, because we already are in mid-May. Before we know it, we're going to be halfway through the year, and before we know it, the next-gen consoles are going to be here, and we're going to be playing Cyberpunk 2077 for 300 hours, you know? And there's just going to be less and less time for these games. So yeah, Digimon Survive, really hope we hear something soon. Seems like a great title, especially if you're an anime fan, especially if you're Digimon or Pokemon fan, or just that Tamagotchi growing up experience looks great. Sorry, I can't talk. I think I need some Zona power. Oh, they're just so much better when they're cold. But yeah, hopefully here we hear something about Digimon Survive soon. And speaking of other awesome stuff that has been in the past, something I'm super looking forward to by Double Fine Productions, Psychonauts 2. Love the first game. I love these games. Hey, Linny Lou, thank you so much for liking the. Hope you're having a great day. Really appreciate all the support, by the way. I know I'm kind of just going on a tangent. I'm kind of just spewing my thoughts, but that's what every Wednesday is for, is just sit down, catch up, have a good time. So yeah, Psychonauts 1 came out in 2005, originally just for the Xbox, and then it saw a PlayStation release. And Double Fine is a great company that's given us awesome titles, like from Tim Schafer. Titles like Grim Fandango and Full Throttle, and just a bunch of point-and-click adventures. But then they've really evolved to be more of a action-adventure studio, and with Psychonauts, it's all about the writing. They've taken the long, hard road of... they wrote an amazing experience with the Grim Fandango, which I still have yet to get all the way through. But they know what they're doing as far as a writing standpoint. I think they're finally just getting their own feet of finding the gameplay aspect. And Psychonauts was great with the puzzle gameplay, and you can use your mind, and you play as Rasputin, kind of a circus runaway that of course becomes the savior of the world, and learns that Psychonauts can use their brain to a very campy experience, and you get to know a lot of awesome, lovable characters and see them grow and have some mentorship experiences and just learning all your different professors that are teaching you. And I can't wait to see this game. Apparently this game is coming out in 2020. I think Double Fine was actually bought out by Microsoft, so I was really worried that this game wasn't going to be coming out on PlayStation 4, but it is. This game is going to be the last one, much like how Outer Worlds was Obsidian's last PlayStation title. I think they've just been working on it for so long that they would have felt shafted not to release these games on a PlayStation console. So yeah, I guess you know, just as I talk about it, I think Microsoft is going to come back in a strong way, especially with Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and that company being bought up by Microsoft. But yeah, Psychonauts 2, I've been waiting for this game for a long time. I've always kept my eyes and ears for years on this title, and just because of the writing, I love Tim Schafer. I think he is an amazing guy that puts a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into his work. Much like great masterminds like Hideo Kojima and Cory Barlog, they really have a vision, and they just make sure that they take the time to make a quality product. And I think that's why this game has been delayed so much, just because Tim Schafer is not a guy to rush things out the door. So yeah, we've seen some gameplay for this game, and hopefully we hear something soon. But again, all these games, for the most part, except for some I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, have a 2020 release date. So hopefully we'll hear something about that soon. So let's get on the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda, man, what are you guys doing? Todd Howard, yeah, is the guy that runs Bethesda, and he's always kind of cutting around the bush about what people really want to know. And I actually do have some news here. I kind of want to combine the news and the games I'm talking about here. But yeah, I love these titles. Fallout. I think I've always been. I love Fallout and um, Elder Scrolls kind of right on the same level. I like that it's the different themes, and one's the nuclear post-pandemic, and one's more of a fantasy setting with dragons, and people are just at the edge of their seat waiting for Elder Scrolls 6. But they do have Starfield coming out first, and actually someone just recently tweeted out to Bethesda, hey, any news or when we might get some things about the Elder Scrolls 6, and Pete Hines is the global marketing guy for Bethesda, and he pretty much just said F off. Very disgruntled, seems unhappy. He said, well, basically he said, we'll be excited for disappointment, which he just means that we won't hear anything about Elder Scrolls for years and years to come. It's going to be a while. It seems like maybe a decade before we actually get Elder Scrolls 6. And then Starfield's going to be coming out first, and I'm kind of interested to see how Bethesda evolves and see how they translate into next gen. Just because their games are really up there and they sell very well, and people are still buying Skyrim. I've bought it like 3 times and I still haven't fully completed it yet, but it's nice to sit down and you truly feel like you're in a real world. And it's really sad to see like Fallout 76 become such a laughing stock because of its content and the things that they chose to do, especially with DLC and loot boxes, becoming such a horrendous topic for the gaming industry in recent years. And they've kind of went down that dark road like EA maybe a little bit, and it's really hard to see where they're coming from on their games. So I'm looking for these titles. Starfield is coming out first. We haven't seen really anything. We've seen teasers for both, but not really any hardcore real evidence of what either of these games are. I mean, I'm sure we have an idea about hundreds of hours of RPG fun, but they really need to be a little bit more communicative in the future, especially with next gen coming up, and especially with the flops that Fallout 76 has been. And especially their decisions and their marketing. Yeah, I'm looking at, it just works 16 times the detail. Man, if you get a chance, look up Todd Howard, 16 times the detail. It's just cringy and embarrassing, and just like how do you say it with a straight face, and that happens a lot in the gaming industry, especially with people like Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, and how he's kind of handled some of his real life drama, but also coming out with a really well developed game like Borderlands 3. So it's funny when we really get to know the developers really well and how they market their game, and it really does play into the success of their games. And that's why games like God of War, with Cory Barlog being just a very truthful, amazing speaker and a great guy, and he's really become a woke and grew over the years, and it's really translated into his games in God of War. And of course God of War 2 could be on this list, but we don't have any officiality there. This is just all official stuff. So yeah, Bethesda, get on your shit. Seriously, I'm excited. I just want you to bring it back. I want you to come back. So many developers of yesteryear that were known for great and glory have kind of just gone down the dark path of DLC, paid loot boxes, and just money. And I get that. I really do, especially right now where we're all kind of hurting. But hey, just tell us you're making us a great product and give it to us, and we'll fully pay for it. You don't have to tack on another $60 season pass. I mean, I guess if that's the content you're giving us. But just be honest, because we're getting sick of that, honestly. But yeah, moving along here. Again, this is a kind of a smaller title that was really popular back in the day. A very cult, classic game that people have been demanding a sequel to. And I believe this is actually another Ubisoft title. And of course, I'm talking about Beyond Good and Evil, an action-adventure game that came out in the early 2000s that had a very gripping story. A very awesome main character. I believe her name was Jade, and she had a ragtag crew of aliens and other species people things helping her, kind of feeling like a tale like Rogue One, or just like again a group of misfits banding together to basically save the world or wherever. It's been a long time since I played the first one, and we've seen some kind of gameplay snippets or tech demos of Beyond Good and Evil 2, and I guess it's kind of interesting to see where they're going. I think it's going to be more open world. The original was kind of a linear open world, much like how a game like Ratchet and Clank or Jak and Daxter would be. So that's a real smart way to kind of have a really polished, good-looking game, kind of like God of War is kind of like a next-gen example of a game like that. But yeah, we don't really know too much about this game. I didn't do a big amount of research, but I thought I'd include it on this list because it's kind of been on the back burner for a long time now, and I think we deserve it. And maybe we would have got something if E3 was happening. It's kind of hard to get more concrete, exciting news because E3 is dead, and it's really sad. And they're saying the ESA, the people that run E3, they're saying it's going to come back next year in 2021, but it's looking grim and unlikely for the most part. So we just have to keep up with the games we can pretty much by ourselves. So I'm always just going to keep my eye on Beyond Good and Evil, and I have been, and we've gotten some really cool stills and screens and some techie gameplay stuff, but nothing that's really solidifying this as a game we're super looking forward to. I mean, we are super looking forward to it, but it's kind of hard to say with some of these games when and if they're even coming out because of especially the current situation of the world right now, and especially when games releases have been totally effed up because of it, much like The Last of Us. Bottom line, they lost a lot of money because people just don't even care about the outcome of that game because they think they know what happens, and I guess they do know what happens, but again, I think you really have to play it to see it play out in front of you. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how Beyond Good and Evil 2 pans out if this ever comes out. I'm sure Ubisoft, I'm pretty sure that's who develops and publishes this title. I'm pretty sure they'll not want to drop the ball on this one. I think there's just a lot of companies holding their cards close to their chest with a lot of these bigger marquee titles that we're all obviously looking very forward to. So yeah, we're almost done here, guys. I just have one more game I want to talk about, just because I'm really trying to spread it in every genre and everything that I've kind of kept my eye on very closely. And we actually got an official announcement of this game. I thought this was kind of a dream game for me, but with everything happening with the company, I wasn't really sure of how things were going to go. And of course, I'm talking about Wolf Among Us 2 actually got a real official reveal. I think it was in 2018 now, when Telltale was actually still alive. Telltale has kind of disbanded and become kind of bought out by Skybound Games now, which also is in tandem with the comic book company or the writers. But yeah, this is Wolf Among Us is based off of a Vertigo DC comic series called Fables, which is taking fairy tales and putting them in real life modern New York. And oh my god, Wolf Among Us Season 1 was great. You play as Big B Wolf, the sheriff who kind of keeps all the fairy tales in line with each other, and he's kind of hooking up with Snow White. And it's just a great thrill ride of seeing all these different fairy tales interact in a modern day, very gritty scenario, modern day setting. And I love stuff like that. And we've been asking for a Wolf Among Us 2 for so long now, and the voice actors and Telltale finally came out saying, yep, we're doing it, guys, it's a thing. And then not too long after that, Telltale gets shut down because they got too antsy with all their titles, and they basically just went broke and didn't have any more money because they probably bought too expensive IP franchises like Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones was okay, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't sell enough, not nearly as much as The Walking Dead Season 1. I think they just got a little too high on their horse with Walking Dead Season 1, which sold incredibly well and is critically acclaimed. And if you haven't played Walking Dead Season 1, that's the game that really got me into these point-and-click adventures. I think it just evolved the series in a great way, and even played the Back to the Future series by Telltale, and they also have smaller ones like Sam and Max, that I still really want to check out. That's on PlayStation now. But just really keeping my eye on Wolf Among Us 2. I wish I did a little bit more research before doing this video, but it still is on the back burner. We've gotten some weird screenshots, but bottom line, we have gotten an official announcement of this game. So we'll really see where that goes. I don't think this game, maybe they do come out in episodic series, one episode every couple months, so maybe they can get one out by the end of the year. Again, it's a little tricky with next gen coming up, and hopefully they have some sort of cross buy or smart sharing thing with this title. Kind of hard to say, but I really do miss Telltale, and they've had a great string of games just coming out, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy. They had a bunch of games coming out, and ultimately that's what caused their demise. But I fully loved the products, and I thought the writing was great, and I think they were maybe getting a little fatigued and needed some upgrades, but the content and the writing and the story that was there was still there, and I think they just got a little too excited with their IPs, and they just kept trying to make more and more, but didn't really let their games breathe as much as they should have, or the quality of it. So yeah, guys, really hope we get that soon. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this Doobisode. Yeah, really just wanted to talk about some next gen news, all these games that I'm really excited for. I really did go all out, and I think I represented pretty much the base titles that I'm curious about, things that should be coming out within the next year, and also intertwining with the next geniness that we'll be getting with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One Series X. A lot to look forward to here, clearly, but let's just hope that if not all these titles can really deliver. And for me, I'm trying to keep a little bit of a critical eye, but I just love playing games, and even if SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom sucks, I'll probably still really enjoy it because of the IP it's based off of. But I just really hope that these developers really do just make sure we're getting at least a somewhat decent product, and I'm sure most of these we will be getting some amazing things going on here. But yeah, don't want to take up too much of your time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to know when I'm going live. It looks like I'm getting better streaming things going on with Facebook. It looks like it's finally allowing me to do that. And but hopefully I can just keep in touch. And yeah, we will be playing Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. God, I feel like I've been talking about this forever. I'm gonna do it. I just gotta plan a time to actually do this. Time is just getting harder and shorter, but want to make sure I keep getting content out to you every couple days, if not every day, at least something. We'll stream, we talk some games, and yeah, so just make sure to hit the bell, because I do kind of go on randomly. Don't have a solid streaming schedule yet, but hopefully you can tell that I love games, super passionate about them, and I've always wanted to share them, share my passion with you guys in a productive way, because I do spend a lot of time with games, and I spend a lot of money on games, maybe more than I should, but it's my passion. I completely love it, and I love you guys. I hope you're having a great, wonderful, beautiful sunny day wherever you are, or even if you're not, maybe you're held up with some hot cocoa on a rainy or stormy or snowy night. Whenever you watch this, just really appreciate it, and if you could just like, share, and subscribe, it really does help the channel grow. And we finally hit the 100 subs. That means a lot to me. Man, you guys are great. That is so exciting, and YouTube even sent me a little congratulations email. Yeah, I'm just doing this all myself, and I'd love to talk shop and just have good conversations. And thank you so much for everyone that joined me today and commented and liked and shared. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun just talking about these games. I feel like I just got to find my rhythm a little bit when I do these videos, so just bear with me on that. I know I say that all the time, but we're figuring this thing out together. So yep, Doobs, I don't want to take up any more of your time, so thank you so much. Stay safe, and as always, we'll be right back.